Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another Stargate video, and we're going to be touching on the race who built the Stargates. If you watched my last Stargate video, you'll know I talked about them a little bit inside the SGC tour. If you haven't, stop this one right now, go back and watch it so it'll make a little more sense. We're going to be talking about the Alterans, the race who built the Stargates. Now, the Alterans were a race of people, humans actually, from a different galaxy that is millions and millions and millions of light years away. They believed they could find a way to ascend to a higher plane of existence. We're going to be touching on ascension a little bit in a different video. However, there was a difference in opinion on how to reach this stage. Some believed religion was the best way, actually worshipping ascension and living their lives simply. Some believed science and study was the best way to do it, and this eventually came to be a divide between two powers of the Alterans, known as the Ori and the Ancients. Since they could never find a way to resolve the problem, the Ancients built themselves a ship and left for the Milky Way, while the Ori stayed there and reached out to the other humans in their galaxy, and they all worked together, I believe. A lot of the Ancients left, some stayed behind, I believe. From what I understand, the Ancients arrived in the Milky Way and settled on a planet called Dakara, where they built a Stargate, a specialized transport machine. I'll talk about the Stargate a little bit in another video as well. They eventually made their way to Earth, where they would call home for some time. They built a massive expansion of Stargate network across the galaxy to allow for near instantaneous travel. However, quite some time later, millions and millions of years later after their arrival in the Milky Way, a disease broke out. The disease started killing the Ancients, in fact every living thing in the galaxy, very quickly. It spread around the world like wildfire. Anyway, since the Ancients couldn't find a cure for this, they resorted to one thing. They gathered as much resources as they could to build a ship they would call Atlantis, a city ship that was literally able to fly off Earth and somewhere safe. But before they did, they planted a device on Dakara that would repopulate the galaxy with new life. Very clever federal system itself. We'll touch on that device a little bit in another video, but right now let's focus a little more on the Ancients. They set the device so that after they left the Milky Way, there'd be brand new life sprouting up, so that their old homeworld would have something to live up to. That way, who knows, there may be an opportunity that the descendants of the Ancients themselves would come and find the technology, which is inevitably what happened. But let's try a little off topic. The Ancients left the Milky Way and went to Pegasus, a small dwarf galaxy in the native group. They landed at Atlantis on a planet that's mostly made up of water, not a lot of land. Whereas there's a lot of land on Earth, there's mainly just one bit of land on Atlantica. That was the planet where Atlantis ended up. Now, they prospered for many years, building a network of stargates just like on Earth, around the Pegasus galaxy, and discovering all sorts of new things. They even built another version of Atlantis. This is what I'm thinking. They were inevitably planning to build dozens and dozens and dozens of city ships all across the galaxy with the same ability to travel, just like Atlantis. Now, Atlantis, since it's a ship, it could also go into hyperspace, which is a part of space that allows them to move much faster than the speed of light, at least more than 100 times the speed of light, which allowed them to travel to Pegasus in less than a few weeks, maybe even shorter. Point is, they were most likely planning to build dozens of those ships so they could equally travel if they were ever planning to do it again. Or if the planet became unstable, like for instance the planet inevitably dies, we know that. That way the ship could easily just take off and leave and find a new one. The planets mainly best for Atlantis and other cities like that are mainly water, because the city was designed and built originally in Antarctica. It was built near an ancient outpost that was used by Colonel Jack O'Neill and the other members of SG-1 to defeat Anubis. But that's a little off topic. In the very first episode of the Stargate Atlantis series, I noticed a chair device in the background. That's what gave me that hint that they built it in Antarctica. It mainly just suggests that it was built there and then launched from Earth to Pegasus. Hold on one second, guys. I've just got to sort something out. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. Had a little time to deal with. Anyway, back on topic. From what I understand, the ancients prospered in Pegasus for many, many generations, advancing their technology even more than they did in the Milky Way. In fact, at one point they actually experimented with time travel. And yes, when I mean time travel, I mean like going back in history and to the future. Anyway, off topic a bit. They also managed to develop, not just in the Milky Way but in Pegasus, a very powerful energy source that we know as a ZPM, a zero-point module. A zero-point module extracts vacuum energy from its own contained region of subspace that way ships use to travel. It's basically like a miniature universe in a bottle. At one point in Pegasus, after the ancients left, the Atlantis expedition found the ancients' last great discovery, Project Arcturus. It was designed to make ZPMs basically, well, like alkaline batteries in comparison. Basically, at full power, the chamber makes a ZPM that is at least 10 times as powerful as one of the others. At one point, Dr. Rodney McKay thought he could finish the ancients' work, however, it backfired. The chamber that was used to construct the new ZPMs actually made special subatomic particles that were being created and destroyed so often that it created a space where the laws of physics literally don't apply. When I say that, I mean anything a computer can predict, chances are things will happen in there that cannot happen anywhere else. Anyway, like I was saying, they prospered for many years in Pegasus until they stepped on a planet where they shouldn't have gone, where there was a creature called the Aratus bug. This creature, attaches itself to a person and sucks the life from them, slowly. If you injure the bug, it will suck more life out to heal itself. If you've seen Stargate Atlantis, you'll know the same thing happened to Major Shepard. He got one of those Aratus bugs stuck to him. Now, over time, the Aratus bug started taking on the characteristics of the creatures it was feeding on, mainly humans. It started taking on more a human form and shape. Many things are useful to the Aratus bug in the human body: large brain capacity, opposable thumb. However, there was one aspect that was not useful in the Wraith. That's what they turned into: the human digestive system. The Wraith still had the ability to suck human life using a special feeding valve on their hands. Literally, their fingernails went in. Sorry, I'm not going to say that in case some young kids are watching. Anyway, the Wraith needed to feed, so they knew they couldn't just kill every ancient in the galaxy. There were regular humans in the galaxy as well, like, for instance, some regular old villages. The ancients protected them, and they spawned them there on different planets to bring life to the galaxy where there was none, apart from the Aratus bug. The Aratus bug is a very deadly creature, but we'll touch on them a little differently in a different video, I mean. Anyway, the ancients also were capable of building impressive starcraft, like in this picture here. They're on board a ship called the Aurora. It was used in the Battle of Atlantis, the war that lasted several years after the Wraith started, gaining power. They built massive ships called hive ships that were actually organic in nature, so they could literally control them with their minds, like a symbiotic link. Anyway, after the ancients realized they couldn't win the war when they were stranded in Atlantis for so long, its great shield was strong enough to protect them. However, they couldn't stay there forever. They couldn't make new ZPMs, and they were going to lose eventually. They knew that. The Atlantis Stargate was the only one powerful enough in the entire Pegasus network that had a link back to Earth. So, they made a last-ditch effort and submerged the city under the ocean. And the ancients travelled back to Earth through the Stargate and lived out the rest of their natural lives, and eventually reached a point of ascension that they were planning to. However, much time passed, but the Wraith was still there. If the Wraith can hibernate for extreme long periods. For instance, some of them are hibernating for 10,000 years. That's back in the war with the ancients. But we'll touch on the Wraith a little more in another video. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you all next time.